Relations between Netherlands and India have been going from strength to strength, but now they are being taken to another level. The Dutch foreign minister has been here in India and has been holding significant meetings with the foreign minister and the defense minister as well. And joining us here exclusively on NDTV is the Dutch foreign minister himself, Mr. David van Weel. Thank you very much for joining us here. Mr. Minister, let me begin by asking you, what was the high point for you for this particular visit? Of course, we've had diplomatic ties going from strength to strength, but what was the focus area?
Oh, there were many focus areas here, and that goes to show that our partnership is really going up to the next level. So we always had a lot of good cooperation on the field of water management, on the field of horticulture, on the field of agriculture, and that will continue and that will expand. But next to that, we see that the new geopolitical environment also asks more of us. We see that we want more cooperation in the field of high tech and semiconductors. We see that the world is becoming more unsafe, so we want more cooperation on security and defense. And those are just two of the areas that we paid attention to during my visit the last 2 days.
And you met the defense minister as well. And I hear that there's been a letter of intent. So what will be the expectation that Netherlands would have? Would you say that this is a beginning of something incredible, defense to defense level? And would there be some sharing of technology as well?
So absolutely, this is the beginning of a deepening relationship. We've joined your Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative as an observer. We've given courses in the rule of law on the sea to also Indian students. Our Chief of the Navy, or the Deputy Chief of the Navy, will be here in India in February to discuss the developments in the Indo-Pacific. And strategically, from a long period ago, the Netherlands has always been an advocate for freedom of the high seas, and that is something that we share with India. So especially in the maritime domain, I think there are opportunities. But yes, I also visited your Mazagon shipyards where most of your naval ships are being made. We also discussed potential for collaboration there between the Indian and Dutch industries.
The top focus areas also included semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and the sharing of technology. So how would now the relations be strengthened bilaterally on these aspects? India, in fact, is hosting the Artificial Intelligence Summit next year. Would you be joining that?
Well, I won't, but even a higher visit will join it. So my Prime Minister will be there, most likely accompanied by the Minister of Economic Affairs. This is something of high interest to us, and it should be to all of us. These new technologies like AI are going to determine the way our society operates in the future. And I think India and the Netherlands share the vision that that should be based on clear guardrails. We shouldn't suffocate innovation. We should leave room for innovation and for this technology to grow. But at the same time, we don't want to leave it completely without any guardrails, because then these technologies can also become dangerous. So to embolden the democratic value of technologies like AI is, I think, something that we deeply share between the two nations. And practically, AI cannot run without semiconductors. So you need a strong foothold in the semiconductor industry. The Netherlands has some strength there. We also have some companies like NXP, which are already very active here in India. NXP, for example, has more than 3,000 employees here and does most of the design of these high-end chips that also will become AI capable. So there's a lot to build on. We're not starting at zero, but we want to expand and bring it to the next level.
You served in the NATO, Mr. Minister, and Russia-Ukraine has been a top priority for Netherlands as well. And you say this is an issue of survival for the entire Europe as well. You come here just a couple of weeks after Russian President Putin was welcomed in New Delhi. So what were the discussions that you had with your counterpart here in New Delhi regarding the Russia-Ukraine war, and India's position of dialogue and diplomacy will pave the way forward? Do you agree with that?
So for us, as you say, the war in Ukraine is existential. We believe Ukraine cannot lose this war because this would have detrimental effects to all the rules that we agreed on concerning sovereignty, territorial integrity, not attacking your neighbor countries. So a durable peace is what we need, and that is what Europe will go for. That's why we pledged 90 billion euros of support last night for Ukraine to make sure that they can sustain their economy and can sustain their military efforts as long as it's needed. At the same time, of course, we want this war to end. This is a very bloody war. This is leaving a very harsh impression on Ukraine, but also on Russia. We believe that in the month of October, more than 20,000 Russian soldiers died for just a very little territorial gain. So whatever efforts can lead to a durable peace, we will be supportive of that. And I've asked my Indian counterparts also that whatever pressure they can exert on Moscow to seriously enter into negotiations, they should please use it.
You had a hectic day. My last question to you, Minister, and that is about India's concern about counter-terrorism. Recently we had the Operation Sindoor, and there were concerns regarding the Pahalgam terror attack and the Red Fort terror attack that has happened. And you had a very robust defense cooperation with Pakistan. Was that discussed with New Delhi? Were there concerns raised, and what was your response?
So I express my condolences for the horrible attacks. I mean, these videos went all over the world. Of course, they were also watched in horror by the population of the Netherlands. And also in Europe, we still see a big challenge with radicalization, extremism, also going into the violent world. We had the attack in Bondi Beach just earlier this week, where we saw radicalism playing a role. So we are partners of India in combating extremism and radicalism. And we do not wish to contribute to that in any which way. Now, of course, the exports of material from the Netherlands to Pakistan was discussed. This, of course, predates a lot of the events that happened. These were deliveries of 2 ships, ocean patrol vessels that contractually were delivered. But of course, in all weapon exports, we take into account who is the end user and what is the end use that is foreseen, and take decisions on the basis of that.
Mr. Minister, thank you very much for joining us. That is India and Netherlands taking their relationship to another level, strategic cooperation, and of course the Russia-Ukraine war also discussed between the ministers of both these countries. This is Aditya Kaul reporting for NDTV from New Delhi.